So I've gotten a lot of questions about what did I ever do with that 1991 F350 that I rescued that hadn't been started in a few years. I started it actually right over there. This is actually it. We used it for parts because it didn't have no title, and I could have fixed it because I had a F150 cab, but it needed a lot of work. Like this hub over here is broken. I had to find some parts for it. I do, however, have a gray extended cab Ford, but that's besides the point. The engine's actually in a cab chassis 1-ton. I use the engine transmission transfer case. And then probably more than likely, I'm going to use this rear end in that truck because that's the old style rear end and the pinion nut comes loose on it all the time. So if this is the more updated pinion nut version, I think the threads are longer on that one, it looks like. It's 410s, I figured that out, front and rear axle. But I need a fuel tank for my 94 single cab long bed. And I had the question of also how much fuel was in the thing. Well, this tank probably has about 5 gallons in it. I just dropped it, and it's pretty heavy. I'd say there's at least 5 gallons in there. The rear tank didn't have none in it. It had varnish in it. You can see the varnish. Popped the cinder out of it. I needed the cinder for that truck. I had another tank. This is actually out of that truck. Also had a lot of varnish in it. I shot it with a 9mm, but it's gonna get used for parts. I'm gonna hopefully fix that truck with it as well. Actually, that has an IDI in it as well. I just need a few piddly things out of this one, and I'll have 2 good trucks, and well, 3 good trucks because I can use some of the parts for that. Like the rear end, for instance. It had the wheel spacers on it. I used the wheel spacers on the back of this to widen it because I'm going to put a flatbed on that. The mat out of that truck's actually right there. Seed out of it is in my F150, my 87 F150. But I'm going to use a few of the parts out of it, and I should have a couple good trucks out of it. But everybody kept asking me, like, was I going to restore it, and this and that, and whatnot. I have the bumper for it sitting back there. Sitting by the 4-wheeler, you can kind of see it there. That might eventually go on this truck on the front. I'm going to get rid of that winch out of it, of course. I might buy a Harbor Freight winch, but I'm going to put it on this truck. But it had a good skid plate in it for the front fuel tank. So I might use it. And this actually was a single wheel 3/4 ton, or I mean 1 ton. And somebody at some point had a flatbed on it, because there's points where where a tab would have come up for a flatbed. Oh, check out the Sketch 101 on this Reese hitch ball. They added length to it. It's crazy. They added onto it and then it's welded to the frame. That's not a wise decision. But they added like a whole bunch of leads to the back of it, and then they put wheel spacers on it to get it to be a dually. I'll run the VIN on O'Reilly's to figure out what this truck really was. It's a 91 F350 single wheel. I'm going to mount here. I think there's a mount back here somewhere, and then here and over there. This bumper is also welded onto the frame. But that's what I figured out on it. I would have liked to have kept it, what that one would have looked like, but I would have needed another bed, which I had. I would have had to single wheel convert it back to single wheel and that, and yeah, I just figured it would be good for parts, especially for the price I paid for it. I paid I think it was $500 for it. The engine ran really good and it didn't smoke a bit. But that's where I'm at, and that's whatever happened to the 1991 F350 red and silver truck. Thanks for watching.